I heard somebody whispering in my ear, "Try Jesus." I thought to myself, what is this? There is no one who could whisper on my ear. Then again, the same voice, in a whispering voice, it came, "Try Jesus." Then I remembered my madam's telling me about Jesus. There, I still remember this thing that I told. I told to Jesus, I said, "Jesus, I do not know who you are. But if you are true God, save my life and I will serve you throughout my life." After telling this thing, I jumped into the water. As I jumped into the water, I did not know what happened to me. I was totally unconscious. It was about night 10:30. That means I was for 4 hours in this water. When I got back my senses, I found myself surrounded by so many people in a village. And that place was about 12 kilometers away from the college where I was studying. I asked to the people how I am here. They told me that you are flashing through the cloud. We saw you and we brought you over here. When I got up, I was feeling very fresh. My fever had gone by then, and I had no way to go. So those people were very kind, and I stayed with them. It was on the 1st of October 1992 when I saw the newspaper. On the front page of the newspaper, it was written, "P.C. Hota, of second year science student, is dead." When I saw that myself, and my name is been printed, published, that I am dead, I got worried. I began to think about my mom, my dad. Then I requested to those people, I said, "Please help me to get into a police station," because my uncle was the chief of the police of the entire state of Orissa during that time. Those people said, "How we will take you out?" I pleaded with them. They managed to take me out from the village with the help of a small boat. Then they brought me to a police station. As I reached to the police station, I told to the police officer over there to get in touch with my uncle. And my uncle told them to take care of me till he comes. He came, he took me, he was so happy, and then he brought me home. My father, my mother, my grandparents, they all were happy to see me that I am alive. My grandparents began to tell me that because you stopped worshipping all the idols, God punished you and you have to suffer in this way. Well, I couldn't answer them. After a month, when our college opened, I came back to the college where I was studying. And I went to the place where I was staying. And I saw to myself that there is no sign of that building where I was living. From that day, I began to have a little faith on Jesus. I went to my mom. I told her what has happened. And then she began to tell me more about Jesus. Then I completed from that college and I was admitted in the best college of Orissa, where 5,000 students used to study. It was in 1984. I stood in that college. I took part in the college election. When I nominated my file, some of the students, they came next to me and they told me to withdraw my name from the election. I said, I'm not going to withdraw my name. They said, if you are not going to withdraw your name, we are going to kill you. Though I told them that I'm not going to withdraw my name, but inside there was a lot of fear. And with that fear, I immediately ran to meet this madam who was staying about 4 hours away from the college where I was studying. I went and I met her. I talked to her. She was a little bit unhappy, and then she told me, students like you should not take part in the election. Then she said, but if you believe, if you will pray, Jesus, the Lord, will help you. And she prayed for me. And she said, okay, you go. I will be praying for you, and you will win the election. And true enough, I won the election with just a simple margin of 7 votes. When I won the election, my faith became very strong. And I left the college with this in my mind, that Jesus, who not only saves our life from death, but also intervenes in our day-to-day affairs. I came back to my home after my graduation. My father did not encourage me to go for further studies, but my father encouraged me to start up an industry. And when my father told me that I will be an industrialist, I was so happy. I began to see dreams, thinking of setting up my business, traveling all around the world. And with all that zeal and enthusiasm, I was involved myself in the business. The total cost of my industry was in 1986, 17 crores of rupees. On the 2nd of April 1986, I was supposed to draw the first installment of amount of money from the bank, for which I went to meet my uncle, who was the police chief, and he was the guarantor for my industry. On 1st of April, we have a big program in Orissa. So as I went to meet uncle, and I thought I will see the program because my uncle will give me a VIP pass. I could go and I see the program, and then I will stay with him. The next day I will draw my first installment and I will come back home. While I was on my way to meet my uncle, on the road I saw a signboard where it was written, Jesus Christ is coming soon for judgment. I was on the left-hand side and the signboard was at the extreme right-hand side. As I saw it, I stopped my motorbike. I came next to the signboard. As I read that Jesus Christ is coming soon for judgment, within a twinkling of an eye, everything came into my memory, that my commitment to Jesus to serve him. And instead of going to meet my uncle, I began to inquire, who is this person who has put up this signboard? And I found out that he was a pastor. I went to meet him. I told him that about the signboard and about what has happened to me. Then we both sat to discuss, and we began to do a lot of arguments. He was talking to me from Bible, and I was talking to him from all the books and the scriptures that I knew of from Hinduism, from all the books. We kept on doing the arguments, and finally I lost and he won. The truth has to triumph. And there we had, I as a Brahmin, we used to keep a holy thread on our body. I took out that holy thread, I confessed my sins, and I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior for the very first time. And as I accepted him, there was a new kind of joy and strength all of a sudden came to me. I was on the top of the world, thinking that in no time I can change the whole world. I can bring everybody into Christianity. I left pastor's house. I did not go to meet my uncle. I returned back home. During the evening, my father, who runs a clinic, he comes home and we all sit and we have little bit of snacks and tea. My father came. You know, we as the Brahmins, we are not supposed to sit on the table or the dining table and the chair to eat. So we usually put some kind of mat on the floor and we sit down to eat. I was sitting opposite to my father. And while we all were having snacks and tea, I told to my father, I said, "Father, I am a Christian." My father heard it correct, but he asked me to repeat what I said. He said, "Tell me, what did you tell?" I said, "Father, I am a Christian." As I said this thing, the hot cup of tea and the saucer flew from the father's hand into my face. I was not prepared for this. My father got up, came next to me, taking out his thick leather belt. He said, "Are you my son or are you a Christian?" I said, "Father, if I have any recognition, that is, that you are my father and I am your son. But at the same time, I am a Christian. And then I have never seen my father so angry. He began to hit me with his belt. He began to hit me like an animal. My shirt was torn. My